Welcome to Day 5 of the Oscars Overview. We've reached the downslope, the second half of our nominees, which includes some of my favorites, all of them leading up to the 93rd Annual Academy Awards airing right here on ABC Columbia this weekend. And boy, is it a tough race this year. Today's nominee teaches us a history lesson centering around FBI corruption in the 1960s. Fred Hampton was the charismatic leader of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panthers. I knew his story before watching, but was excited to see it play out on screen. So without any further ado, let's do a recap of Judas and the Black Messiah. Our film takes place in the late 60s. Fred Hampton, played by Daniel Kaluuya, has just been made chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. J. Edgar Hoover considered him to be a huge threat and stressed that he must be discredited and taken out of power immediately. We now look at Bill O'Neill, played by Lakeith Stanfield. He's a car thief that gets arrested. The FBI offers to waive his jail time if he will become an inside man in the Panthers and get close to Hampton. Chairman Hampton is as charismatic as they come. He's able to captivate crowds with his words. He feeds the poor and hungry children of Chicago, but most of all, he wants an end to oppression, and he thinks the best way of doing this is to bring peace to all of those who are oppressed. He is able to form the Rainbow Coalition, a group fighting for equality made up not only of Black Panthers, but members of a Chicago gang, along with a white supremacist faction and a party of oppressed Puerto Rican nationals as well. Through this unified front, they're able to protest for said equality and help the poor in ways never before possible. As the movie progresses, we see conflicts arising on all fronts. We see disinformation campaigns being sown by the FBI to break up these allegiances. We see the emotional connection form between Hampton and his fiancée, whose fear for his life permeates the entire film. Constant conflicts with the Chicago PD erupt, resulting in bloodshed, arson, and unsupported jailings. And through it all, we see FBI agent Roy Mitchell intimidating and manipulating Bill. He has him doing things that don't sit well with him, but always with that threat of jail for his past crimes. All of this done so the FBI could prevent Hampton from becoming the titular Black Messiah. We as the audience, whether we know the story or not, find ourselves engrossed by the performances, hanging on until the end to see exactly where we are going to end up. So, how about this nominee? It's definitely one of my favorites of the group. As I mentioned earlier, I knew the story of Fred Hampton, but that didn't stop me from being glued to the screen watching the events play out that previously I'd only heard orally or read in books. And it's amazing how accurately the movie sticks to events. I always wanted to see how the Rainbow Coalition was formed, how this man got these groups of people who you couldn't imagine even looking at each other to band together and work together to fight oppression, and this movie shows it happen. You get to be a fly on the wall, so to speak. It's fascinating to see the charisma of Hampton and see how much he accomplished in just the 2 short years this movie spans. And of course, that speaks to the performance of Daniel Kaluuya. He went all out for this role, having to train his vocal cords for the intense speeches. Ever since Get Out, he's played a few loathsome characters, and it was great to root for him again. Speaking of Get Out veterans, Lakeith Stanfield has all the range in this and perfectly personifies turmoil. It's fun to see them up against each other for Best Supporting. Dominique Fishback is powerful, and once again, Jesse Plemons is amazing at making you hate him. This movie needs to be seen. If you know the story, it's great, and if you don't know it, you definitely should. Will it win the statue? I think it'll be tough since Trial of the Chicago 7 takes place at the same time, same place, and has some of the same characters, but we'll talk more about that on Friday. Just know that I'd be happy for this one to win it. This has been your Oscars Overview. Come back tomorrow for a distorted look at a disease that affects us all. Back to you.